Hello, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Thank you so much for tuning into Community Voices. And I'm your host, Sudesh Namata. And I'm super excited to bring to you in this episode an award winning designer this evening, Nimisha. So let's bring her on stage. Hi,
Hello,
Nimisha. How are you
everyone.
doing?
I am good. How are you? Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining us. We've been so excited to talk to you. We wanted the SDN Awards submission is currently going on, and we thought this would be the perfect opportunity to talk to you.
Yes,
So,
yes,
yeah,
actually,
tell us a
the
little bit
timing
about
is right.
true, true. So, tell us a little bit about yourself. How did you get into design, like we call the service design origin story? So, right.
Yeah, that's a long one, but I'll try to keep it short and just briefly go over my touch points of my adventurous journey so far. So, my core is in fashion and textiles and a bit of business out there in that fashion domain. And right after, having experiences as a designer, as a fashion designer, and then completing my first master's in the US, that was essentially in textile design. And then I came back again to India to start off with my business. That's again just women's wear. And that too, it was more like a customized sort of a domain. The model, it was not like, like how you get in all these retail stores that everyone can somehow get to the same outfit. So that was, I think, already inculcating within me as a service designer, like how to actually start listening to the consumer rather than, just designing what I feel like and giving it to them, whether they like it or not, whether they being comfortable or not. And then we all know how fast fashion is disrupting everything environmentally, socially, and the policies, it's like all interconnected. So pretty much I have this habit to like always consistently learn and research about things that I'm passionate for. So yes, I was doing my research in fashion, and so bit by bit I was just getting into the details of all these numbers as I place it, like the problem creators, to be honest. And that's where the mindset was slowly shifting and made me think that, hey, I'm also the part of the problem. What am I doing as a designer? I think it's high time I should start changing that mindset and be those impactful change drivers rather than being the problem creators. So I think that's where I was anyways looking to upskill my educational level. And I was researching about all these courses that aligned at that point of time with my mindset shift. And thankfully, I found SRH for strategic design. And I moved there in Germany in 2021. And that was, I think, the birthplace of all these monumental changes. And yes, here I am in the realm of service design, strategic design, product UX, to say it. I'm out there implementing all the learnings and the toolkits that I've had so far with my experiences, education, and of course, collaborating with such talented people from around the world. So, yeah.
That's incredible, and it's also so unique. Like you'd gone to US, then you've come back to India, then you again went to Germany. Like you also have like this overview of so many different areas. I would say different countries as to how they deal with this issue. So before we go into more SDN Awards question, I'm curious, like, what has been like your impression of how service design has kind of evolved in these areas, and how did you find community, and how did you even find SDN?
Yes, I think it's quite like, evident that it's been evolving in so many domains and doing such remarkable, impactful change, and how I came to know about this existing community, which is like such a motivational platform, I would say. I think I will give it to my professor, Yulia from SRH. I think she posted like the invite for 2023 virtual event because I was still like studying back then there. So we had like a student discount, And I was like skeptical. I was like, I seriously didn't know exactly. Like, even though in my brain and my subconscious, I was actually doing all these things already naturally, but having that term right there to give you that alertness that, hey, you're already doing this, you're already here. I think that became evident after her direction. I think that's how I came to knowledge of this whole service design network and the great community of talented people. And yeah, and I attended it, and I was like, before even starting with that event, I was like really like not sure what's going to happen. Is it going to be like that
Yeah.
boring TED talk again? And, all things, okay, we did this, we did that, okay, then you can also do this and all that. But then no, it was so intriguing and interactive and such varied perspectives. It's not just fixated to design, but how you can actually use all these existing toolkits and think beyond design. Because I
Mm.
think many of the designers stop just right there, like, okay, this product is done, the tangible product is done, the digital product is done, it's deployed, it's shipped, and we stop there, and then let's go to the next project, right? So that's where I think this whole you to think forward, to
Yeah.
beyond your comfort level. So that's what, like, is that inspiration aspect of this whole community. And I think it was just aligned the way I was looking for, like when I said earlier that I was looking for that direction where I can collaborate with like-minded people, and I found it. So everything happens for a reason, nothing happens by chance. So yeah.
Yeah. I love that. I love so many of us just get introduced to such communities through our own communities or through our own networks. So it's lovely to see how you've navigated that. So you talked about a virtual event that you attended. Was this at the intersection of textile and service design? What was it like? If you want to
No,
elaborate a little.
this was SDN 2023 event. So that was the
Great.
virtual part of it. So yeah, that's what that's how I got to know about this, and it was just a
Yeah.
birthplace of all the changes that happened in my life. So
Right, right. And is that how you also got to know about the SDN Awards and decided to apply? What was going on in
yes.
your mind?
Yeah, good question. To be honest, I was not aware about the awards segment. I was just like curious because it was written in the schedule. I was like, okay, let's see what's going to happen, how it's going to happen. And I think the community is doing great. Besides just making you empowered and motivating you towards the thinking process to recognize those commendable work and putting it out there. I think that's the greatest thing I would say for this community. It's like, it's like an ecosystem in its own. And yeah, so coming to the awards, I think again, I was so mesmerized and amazed seeing all the varied projects and so uniquely different, yet using the same framework to achieve those outcomes. And the dedication, the zeal for every project that was out there, I think that really got me thinking that what would it feel like if I put my project someday? Will
Mhm.
it get that visibility? Will it be worthy enough? So I think that was happening then. But then when I was actually working on this project, I was not thinking about all these things. I was just laser focused on the outcome, my efforts, because obviously everything comes before the outcome, right? You have to focus on
Yeah.
your the current process, what you're going to do, how you're going to do, are you framing the right question? So if your base is not strong, how do you plan to make the structure strong? So you have to frame that right question, because I think I had a tough time framing that, because I had to go like over and over and over and over to get that right harmony, I would say.
Yeah.
And yeah, rest is history.
Tell us more. I'm actually very intrigued. I want to know what the how might be was, what this project was about.
Okay, so coming to the project, so it's essentially tackling the other side of the fashion world, which we think on a face that, okay, there's this whole segment of secondhand clothing, which is very popular in the West, right? There are stores out there where anyone can go and just maybe pick out something vintage or something, just it's out there and they resonate with it and they take it. But what is the other side of that same part of the same coin, right? So I was doing my research and I found the drastic facts, the numbers actually, that even if you maybe put your clothes in those donation boxes, they are very common in the West, right? You have these like bins that are out there outside, like in certain locations, and you put all your clothes. You think that you were doing the act of benevolence, but at the end, no, it's not the act of benevolence, but it's another pathway to the same disaster, but in a different form. So pretty much when I started researching, I found the statistics that even if say the 80% of those clothings are getting donated to all these various pathways, the secondhand stores or some other channel who's going to distribute it again to those other part of the stores, you won't believe it's just 10 to 15% of that amount that gets elected, and the rest is again getting dumped,
Right.
incinerated, or just of course it's going to those third world countries. They are facing all of it, and it's just becoming heaps and heaps and heaps of mountain out there that they also don't know what to do because they lack the infrastructure to even think of recycling, because obviously everything is connected, right? That's what I was also like getting more close with it. Like nothing is isolated. No matter
Mhm.
if you're trying to solve this particular systemic problem, what about the other systems that are connected to it? How do you solve them? So
Yeah.
that's the background of the problem, that how actually we can find those ways that are not just the generic upcycling or recycling method of our pre-owned loved garments, but something more to it. Because if you don't have that more to your solution, how do you even think of creating that impact? Because then it'll again fall in all those category of the products that are already there, and there are digital products that are already there. These brands like H&M, they are already trying to do that, get your clothes that are damaged, we'll try to recycle, upcycle, or give you a store credit. But what
Mhm.
even after that? Okay, you're doing that for that certain period of time. What happens after that? Because even if you recycle it, and then what you do, if you're not still interested in that, you will end up donating it to someone else, or throwing it, or worst case scenario, burning it. So that's where all the researches, the synthesis of all the great insights that I found, the ideation also, like I think every step of the process there was a challenge, and it was a tough time, to be honest.
Yeah.
Those 6 months I will never forget, because I was nose deep into it. But then somehow what I learned, and it's like a very solid key takeaway in my mindset till date, that you need to learn to trust the process, not have that obsession to control every aspect of it. Just trust in the process, do your bit, it will show up. Just take one step at a time, not get overwhelmed with, oh, this is the deadline. Oh, by this time I have to finish this. Oh, by that time I have to be done with it. No, I know we are human beings. We have that psychological, pattern in ourselves that we stick with timelines, and maybe sometimes those timelines are just banging in your head that, oh, your due date is near, your due date is near. But then you start panicking and you actually stop working towards it. So that's what I believe in. Like, just start doing it first, slowly and steadily. You will eventually get to that path, because it is going to happen. There's no way out. It's only way moving forward, right? You cannot go back. So I think, yeah, that's how like I derived, after a good amount of brainstorming sessions with my peers, and of course my mentor, who was also my first examiner, I think. I was always constantly in that feedback loop, because I think feedbacks always help in this process. Because sometimes we think that, oh, we might be judged, maybe this is not good enough. But no, I would say just go all in. Just keep your eyes open, your mind open, your ears open. Just keep all your five senses open. Don't restrict yourself, because the
Yeah.
minute you start putting limitations, that's where you stop growing. And that's where you will not even reach to that potential. So I think all these little things that I constantly and constantly follow throughout my journey, I think it already helped. And of course, there were challenges. It's not like I mean, there has to be. That's how it's like, universally existential in any of the process. Like, right? If you are not having any challenge, how do you even push yourself forward? That is the birthplace of all these impactful changes. So, pretty much after going through all those processes, even when the time came for brainstorming the solution, that was again a tough time, because when you ideate, again, you just open up, right? All the wild ideas should be there. It's not like you can't like restrict again that no, you have to think in these lines. You have to always be open again. So it's like double diamond essentially, right? You expand while researching and then narrow down with the insights and then again expand for the ideation bit. And I had so many great ideas from those sessions. It was again confusing for me that which direction do I take? What do I do? Will this be the optimal solution or not? And then what I realized, I never got fixated to the first direction, because I think that's also a key. Never get fixated to what you ideate for the first time.
Right.
Fine, it's going to be there. Maybe it can be just like a starting point, but make sure to keep exploring till the time you find that sweet spot. And that's how I found, because the research pointed out that there, the main primarily the group was women, right? Because obviously females, we know how we can get obsessive with the shopping and everything. So it was reflected that if that same mundane task is done with a fun bit, then yes, there can be a change that can lead to such impactful results. But that's how this whole hybrid solution came in the picture, that it starts with a card game that can, it's portable. I don't have it right now, it's back home. I should have got it to show it. And it's
Totally.
portable. It's like whenever you have a girl's day out or just hanging, chilling out with your friends, you can easily take it out. And it's not just another card game. It's got insights, the knowledge that some people don't really still know about the exact facts of what is happening, even for the secondhand clothing. Fast fashion, yes, it's out there because everything's like a iceberg, right? The tip of the iceberg is very easily visible. What about the underneath depth of it? So that's where you get all these power pack knowledge facts. And then of course while you're playing, you already, it starts setting in your mind that you drive those conversations that sticks, because that's how you get it started. Otherwise, if it's just a momentary thing, you'll be done with it, like okay, this was done. And then I had to think the after also, again, service blueprint. Like what happens after they're done playing the game. So that's where I connected it with a digital app, which again is a continuous ecosystem, where again you can have flexibility, because obviously not every user needs is similar to, like every other individual. It's like you have to customize it. So again, there were many flexible features within the app as a core feature. So, and it's also like building a community within that digital space, that people who already have some knowledge, they can share or reach out in a way that it's already driving that continuous ecosystem and building that community that will actually help the community in need. So pretty much that's the solution which
I love
I
it.
got at.
True, and I absolutely love it. You've told us so many different important points, and I have so many questions. So I'm like thinking, where do I start? One is how you've talked about just the process in terms of, hey, I'm doing this thing that has global impact, but still you want to be super passionate, but you still want to keep a little bit of distance so that you're not attached to the solution or the question that you're working on, because it'll change with time
Right.
and trust the process.
Yes.
And the second part, and I think Shrutika also mentioned that the other side of fast fashion is such an important issue, and then we overlook it so many times. And even
Yes.
though there are so many initiatives with recycling drives by so many companies, it still is not tackling the chunk of the problem, which is your
Yes.
iceberg.
Yes.
That
That's
is
what it is. Yes.
so it's incredible that you've done that. I'm going to take it a little bit back and just ask you, in terms of the awards, how did you know this was the perfect project?
Good question. As I mentioned, I like while working towards it, I didn't even think about all these things. But then when I saw the section of awards in service design community, my inner voice honestly nudged me like, hey Nimisha, just give it a shot. And I totally trust my inner voice because it's like a lighthouse, because that's how I reached my milestones in my life, I would say. And of course, the aha moment was my solution. It's like a hybrid thing. It's not just a digital product or a tangible product. It's like across, right? So I think these two were my guiding path, I would say. Like, just give it a shot. And that too, I was not like, I was so like thinking and stressed that probably I won't even get past the jury review. They'll think, what is this? What is this person done? So I was like, fine, let's just give it a shot. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't happen, it's fine. So that's the whole reason behind it.
I love that because I have the perfect follow-up question to that. How did it feel to finally receive the award when you got to know that email about, hey, you've been selected, and I don't know what that was like, so tell us more.
Yes, good question. Actually, honestly, I was very like in a shock, to be honest. What just happened? Is it some technical error? Or I think they put the wrong email address. I think it's someone else. So I was literally first, it took me some time to register all that. And then, like, okay, yes, it's there. It's past the jury review. It's in the final stage. And then, yes, got the public choice as well. So that too, also, I was like unsure. But then when it was announced virtually, I was like, did I hear my name? Or is it like I'm in a delusion? I'm having that illusion that, oh, no, it's real. And
Hmm.
I'm not even there. So I was like, okay, let me just tell them I'm present online. So, yes, it took me a certain period of time to register all that and process all that, because obviously, when you don't expect certain things and it happens, that's where it's like literally you have that little bit of shock that, oh, it happened. So,
That is
yeah.
true. That is true. And tell me a little bit more about the public choice award part. Like, what was that like? Did people vote, and then was it? Yeah, I think it's more broader, right? The
Yeah.
audience votes, and
Yes.
then
Yes, I think they did it for the first time last year, but I'm not sure if they're going to implement it again this year. So pretty much, I think they posted it out that you can, now it's open for all the voting for the chosen one. So pretty much, that's how like I circulated everywhere, wherever in my network and networks. So pretty much, I think that's how that too. I was not sure because there was such talented group of people, and I
yeah,
was just alone with my project. So it gets, you have all those thoughts like, how can one beat the entire group, right? So
that's
all that was going in my mind, but then I was like, again, following that same process that I follow always in my mind. Just do your thing. Outcome, it's gonna happen. It'll happen. If not, it's fine. You're still there in the finalist. So,
yeah, that is so true.
so that's what it is.
What did that like? Just winning the award as the People's Choice Award and being in the finalists, what did that mean for you in terms of visibility and also for the project? Because this is such a need of the hour project. And
Yes.
I know that a lot of people should be able to think about the entire, like the fast fashion industry and how, we have to move toward a lot of things you talked about
Mhm.
is circular economy. It was just going on in the back of my
Yeah.
head where we were talking about
Yes.
this.
Yes.
So yeah, what did it mean for you and the
I
project?
think visibility wise, yes, it's out there. People are like curious, they to reach out to me asking questions, and also trying to understand how it happens that you get to this point of receiving award. And then I only say that first focus on the real tough part. Focus on putting that effort, be very nose deep, follow all these processes which I mentioned, like be open to everything and all that. And then um, the other part of it, like how it's affected me as an individual, as a designer, I would say it made me more passionate. It has just like made me more convicted towards my chosen path, because the path that I've chosen, it's not traditional in my family. I'm the only designer in my family. So it's difficult to make your parents understand, right, what you're doing. Certain things, fashion designer, okay, they understood. But how do I explain this? That gets tricky part, right? That this is something which is aligned with the design, but it goes beyond just the aesthetics. You actually understand what the problem is and devise the solution around it. So pretty much, I think it's given me that motivation to continue, and hopefully, I envision myself to be in those rooms, be on those tables where I can raise all those point of views and actually be that differentiating accelerator rather than staying in the sidelines. So I think this is what it has empowered me with.
That is incredible, and thank you for sharing that, Namisha. I'm going to open the Q&A, and then we'll for everyone. Hopefully, we have some lovely questions. And in the meantime, I know one question that's there in everyone's mind is for someone who is hesitating and not sure. And you spoke about a lot of it, like you were not sure when you were submitting the award. What advice do you have for someone like that?
Yes, I think I'm repeating it again. Just focus on your bit. That is, just do your hard work, and then once you have it, go for it. Don't second guess it. Just go for it. Just put it out there, and just if you resonate that this is the one that will be that monumental moment in my life, just go for it. Listen to your inner voice, because I think many of us don't tune with it, and we forget that that is your lighthouse always in all the decision making. So just get in tune with your inner voice. I think if you are not sure, that will definitely lead you to that chosen project, and just submit it. Just go for it. Don't even think about the outcome again. Just do your bit, because in the submission also, I'm talking about again the service blueprint, that you have to be like relevant, follow the guidelines, make sure it's like following all the criteria. Work on that also. Don't be just like, don't take it for granted that, oh, this is what it is, I've put the document, I'm good. No, make sure that you've double checked, or having maybe consult with your mentor or something like that, because I did again have a word with my first examiner, and I think she helped me with that, again refining here and there. So do that, and then finally submit it. Not just be so overconfident that, oh, nothing is going to go wrong, because we are human beings. So yes, have that other perspective also while submitting.
Definitely. And you have emphasized it so many times, the process, having mentorship, and really dive deep into the research and create a lot of impact that you were looking for.
Yes, exactly.
So, finally, one last question, which is going to be, what is a question that no one's asked you and you're dying to answer?
Oh. Good question.
It could be about the project, it could be about your journey, anything.
That's an interesting one. I think pretty much whatever I think I should be speaking about, I'm already asked. So I really don't know.
Hey, we did a good job.
Maybe you can ask. Then maybe I can think, oh, I didn't know about this perspective. That's how it happens, right?
True, true. All right. Perfect. I see one question from Shipika. Let's pull that out. I really resonated with your approach. What's one challenge you faced where you pivoted your approach for this project? Love that.
There was not one time I pivoted. I think, as I mentioned, throughout the whole process, right from research to synthesis to ideation to the prototyping and implementation, I think every time I had to repivot, because sometimes you think you know the answers to all those questions that are out there, or that you've synthesized all those insights in the right direction. But that's when you discuss with your peers and your mentor, they put a new perspective to it. That's how you repivot, because that's why I was asserting that you have to be like in that open mind. You cannot be like, restricting yourself that, oh, I will only trust myself, I will only trust my decisions. No, that's never gonna get you to that level. You have to keep that continuous, consistent feedback loop going on. That's how you keep repivoting. Because I think if I hadn't done all those part since the very beginning of that whole 6 months of process, I think probably I wouldn't have even gotten this output, to be honest. So I think I will give to all the consistent feedback. And of course, some will align, some will not, but that's how you have to have that eyesight and that, critical thinking also, that, okay, maybe we take these for this project and maybe we filter it out, because that also should, the balance should be there, to be honest, not completely dependent on others' feedback, others' perspectives, others' insights, because at the end, you are doing it. If it's your solo contributing project, even in a team setting, when you do all these crit sessions, all these stand-up sessions, make sure you take all the feedback, but then think, sit with it, that understand, is that even aligned to the goal? If it's not, filter it out. That's how you pivot.
That is perfect. And with that incredible question and your amazing answer, we're going to end this session. Thank you so much, Namisha, for joining us today and sharing your incredible experience and inspiring everyone. Hopefully, a lot more people will be submitting and we get to see those projects talked about soon.
Yes, thank you for having me, and I'm seriously looking forward for this year's list. And yeah, just go for it. Don't second guess. If you feel like this is what's gonna be like, just go for it. But
Yep,
first, do your hard work. Don't just be focused on the awards, because then you stop doing the hard work. So
that is true. Thank you, Namisha. See you next time. Bye
thank you so
bye.
much. Bye bye.
Bye.